Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 with me, Frank Pereira, on Rajya Sabha television. Here are the headlines this evening. Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha adjourned amid continued protests. Opposition demands tribute be paid to the 7 army personnel martyred in Nagrota terror strike. Congress seeks Defence Minister's statement. Army Chief General Dalbir Singh Suhag visits Nagrota Army base. Pakistan violates border ceasefire in the Uri sector in North Kashmir's Baramulla district. RBI steps in to check misuse of Jan Dhan accounts, restricts withdrawal to 10,000 rupees per month for KYC compliant account holders, 5,000 for others. Supreme Court directs cinema halls across the country to play the national anthem, tells Centre that the order should be given effect in a week's time and circulated to all states and union territories. At Havana's Revolution Square, amid chants of "Long live the revolution," thousands pay tributes to the departed leader Fidel Castro. Well, the opposition raised the demand for an obituary reference for the soldiers who died in the terror attack on the army camp in Nagrota on Tuesday. The opposition accused the government of being insensitive and demanded the Defence Minister's statement on the issue. Meanwhile, the government clarified that combing operations were on and proposed to initiate a discussion on the border issue.
As soon as the House met for the day, the opposition raised demands of paying tribute to the 7 army personnel martyred in the Nagrota terror strike. The Congress termed the situation grim and demanded the Defence Minister's statement on the terror attack.
नगरोटा के जो हादसा हुआ उसको लेकर सुबह हमारे एमपी चाहते थे ओबिचुरी हो जाएगा तो डिफेंस मिनिस्टर स्टेटमेंट दे दे डिफेंस मिनिस्टर स्टेटमेंट दे दे सर डिफेंस मिनिस्टर को आके स्टेटमेंट देना चाहिए डिफेंस मिनिस्टर को आके यहाँ स्टेटमेंट देना चाहिए इतनी बड़ी घटना इतनी बड़ी घटना हुई है मिनिस्टर डिफेंस मिनिस्टर क्यों नहीं स्टेटमेंट देते?
Meanwhile, TMC and BSP joined ranks in condemning the killings of jawans post-surgical strike.
जब से सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक हुआ है जम्मू कश्मीर में, उसके बाद 25 आर्मी पर्सोनेल का मौत हुआ है. पिछले दिन कल भी 7 आर्मी जवान शहीद हो गए.
हमारी पार्टी का ये कहना है, जब से सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक हुआ है तो तब से लेकर अब तक तो हमारे काफ़ी जवान शहीद हो गए हैं और अभी रिसेंटली 2 अधिकारियों को मिलाकर 5 और थे तो 7 हमारे जो जवान हैं वो शहीद हो गए हैं. लेकिन माननीय सभापति जी, तो सरकार इस मामले में हमें बिल्कुल भी संवेदनशील नजर नहीं आ रही है.
The government denounced the alleged politicization of the border issue and stressed that combing operations were underway in the terror-hit area. It also offered a discussion on the border issue.
सीमा की स्थिति के संबंध में अगर विपक्ष चर्चा चाहता है तो सरकार उसके लिए भी तैयार है.
हमारे सुरक्षा बल दुश्मनों के मुंह तोड़ जवाब दे रहे हैं, देश के दुश्मनों का खात्मा कर रहे हैं. ऑपरेशन खत्म होने के लिए आपको सारी बातें बताई जाएंगी.
The chair clarified that an obituary reference would be made at an appropriate time.
What the minister said is that the operation is going on there. Yes, after that, information will be shared with the House and we can have obituary also.
The proceedings of the House were stalled as the opposition and Treasury benches sparred over the issue.
See, what is the convention?
With inputs from Vishal Dhaya, Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, opposition members, including those from the Congress, TMC, Left and RJD, today staged a walkout in the Lok Sabha. They were demanding an obituary reference for the 7 soldiers who died in the attack that was rejected by Speaker Sumitra Mahajan. The government also slammed the opposition, saying that they shouldn't politicize the martyrdom of soldiers.
Opposition parties on Wednesday staged a walkout from Lok Sabha after demanding an obituary reference to the 7 army personnel killed in the Tuesday terror attack in Nagrota. The speaker rejected their demand, stating that final details were yet to emerge.
आपने जो obituary की बात कही मैं केवल वही हमने बात अभी कही है, जिसे भी कहा है, क्योंकि जो मैं सुन रही हूँ कॉम्बिंग इज ऑन, वो थोड़ी सी जानकारी पूरी ले लेते हैं, होने दो। और फिर अभी तक करी थी क्या कभी? आप हमारी भी बात करेंगे ना? ऑबिचुअरी देने में कभी कोई है नहीं है, पूरी रिपोर्ट आ जाए।
Opposition members later expressed regret over the development but blamed the government for its inputs to the speaker on the matter. Mahajan rejected this, stating that the government had no role in it.
जो सुबह यहाँ पर ऑबिचुरी रेफरेंस के वक्त हमने जो उठाया था वो आपके खिलाफ नहीं था। हम सरकार जो आपको इनपुट देना चाहिए था वो इनपुट नहीं देने के वजह से, उनकी गलती के वजह से ऐसा एक घटना हुआ। इसीलिए मैं ये क्लैरिफाई करना चाहता हूँ, मैं स्पीकर के खिलाफ हूँ।
Today in the morning we wanted to see that the jawans who have lost their lives, we should take an obituary reference, but it was not any attempt to hurt you for our walkout. If as hurt you, so we express our regret and we still feel government couldn't supply you positive information.
Later, while demanding an adjournment motion on demonetization, the opposition members rushed to the well of the House, forcing the Speaker to adjourn the House for the day. With Pranav Goswami and Ravindra Singh, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Army Chief General Dalbir Singh Suhag visited the Nagrota Army base in Jammu today. He was briefed about the situation after the deadly terror attack on the base on Tuesday. 7 soldiers were martyred in that attack. Army personnel also carried out combing operations in and around the base in Nagrota town.
The terrorists who attacked the Nagrota army base in Jammu entered India using a tunnel. A 75 to 80 meter tunnel from the international boundary was found during a combing operation. This tunnel is believed to have been used by the 3 terrorists to infiltrate into India.
Today morning only, during a thorough search of the area, we were in a position to detect a very small tunnel.
Security forces also recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition, including 7 IEDs from the slain terrorists.
AK-47 3 मिली, AK-47 की 20 magazines मिली. They were all loaded. 517 राउंड्स थे उनके पास में एमुनिशन के. एम्प्टी कार्ट्रिजेस भी जो उन्होंने चला दिए थे वो भी कुछ मिले. 8 mm की पिस्टल एक थी, मैगजीन भी उसके साथ में एक थी. कैमोफ्लाज यूनिफॉर्म थी 2, रेडियो सेट्स थे 2, जीपीएस नंबर जीपीएस वाज देयर, मोबाइल पावर बैंक 2 थे.
Army Chief General Dalbir Singh Suhag also visited the army base where he was briefed about Tuesday's terror attack.
हमारी तरफ से सुरक्षा व्यवस्था जो है वो चाक चौबंद है, चौकस है और हमारी पूरी तैयारी है. 24 घंटे हम तैयार हैं, 24/7. जिन हालात में डिफिकल्ट टाइम्स में हम गुजर रहे हैं तो उसमें इस तरह के इंसिडेंट होने की संभावना रहती है और हम उसके लिए तैयार हैं.
Gunmen raided the base just before dawn on Tuesday, firing at officers before entering the officers' mess. In the mess, they took security men, women and children hostage for several hours. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, a united opposition sought to corner the government in the upper house today. They insisted on condoling the deaths allegedly due to the withdrawal of high-value currency notes, accusing the opposition of trying to cause obstruction. The government pressed for discussion.
The opposition on Wednesday continued its tirade against the government over the demonetization issue. Upping the ante against the government, opposition parties alleged that people have died due to the ill-conceived move and demanded that an obituary reference be made for them.
82 लोग, बुजुर्ग, औरतें, मर्द, बच्चे जो इस सरकार की गलत नीतियों की वजह से और बगैर तैयारी उन्होंने ये डिमोनेटाइजेशन अनाउंस किया, उसमें 82 लोग मारे गए, उनको भी श्रद्धांजलि देनी चाहिए.
जो नोटबंदी का बिना तैयारी के तो सरकार ने जो डिसीजन लिया है तो उससे लगभग 90 के आसपास चर्चा शुरू करो लोग मर चुके हैं. तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि इन दोनों मामलों को लेकर चर्चा शुरू कीजिए, प्रस्ताव लाए, चर्चा शुरू कीजिए. आप लोग चर्चा के लिए तैयार नहीं है. शोक प्रस्ताव आना चाहिए सरकार की ओर से।
जो नोटबंदी की है वो देश के लिए की है, तो देश के खातिर जो लोग 90 लोग जो लाइन में खड़े थे, बूढ़े बच्चे, वो सब लोग जो है वो उनका इंतकाल हुआ।
Reiterating their demand for the Prime Minister's presence in the House, the opposition parties also asked for compensation for the kin of persons who lost their lives due to demonetization.
The Prime Minister has said a lot of things outside the House, painting all political parties in a very poor light. He needs to come here and tender an apology. Let's carry on with the debate after that.
मामला उठाया है, उससे मैं पूरी तरह सहमत हूँ। एक चीज़ और कहना चाहता हूँ कि जो लोग लाइन में खड़े मरे हैं, उनको सरकार मुआवजा दे। गरीब लोग मरे हैं, उनको कम से कम 10 लाख रुपया हर व्यक्ति को मिलना चाहिए, चाहे वो महिला हो, चाहे पुरुष हो, चाहे बच्चा हो। ये इसके गरीब लोग हैं, गरीब लाइन में खड़े हुए थे, अपने जीवन भर की कमाई को बदलना चाहते थे और उसमें मर गए लोग।
Refuting all claims, the government urged the opposition to resume the discussion on demonetization.
जो दो विषय जिनका कई माननीय सदस्यों ने जिक्र किया है, एक करेंसी का विषय है, एक जो सीमा के ऊपर स्थिति है। करेंसी के विषय पे चर्चा चल रही है और सीमा की स्थिति के संबंध में अगर विपक्ष चर्चा चाहता है तो सरकार उसके लिए भी तैयार है।
Demonetization has brought the government and the opposition at loggerheads. Wednesday was the 10th consecutive day when proceedings of Rajya Sabha were disrupted due to the issue. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, opposition parties today asked the Lok Sabha Speaker to decide a rule other than 56 and 193 that leads to voting at the end to continue the debate on demonetization. Here's what happened in the lower house.
Into the third week of the winter session, opposition parties reiterated their demand to discuss the demonetization issue under an adjournment motion. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anand Kumar intervened, stating that the government was ready for a healthy discussion in the House and also open to suggestions.
हम पूरा तैयार हैं इस चर्चा में भाग लेने के लिए।
कोई किसी रूल पे तैयार नहीं है, तो why to? Yes, please.
एक बार दूध का दूध, पानी का पानी हो जाए।
आप चाहते हो, I am ready. Yes, yes.
We are ready, madam.
With the opposition adamant on discussing the matter under Rule 56 or 193, Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan rejected their demand.
मैं आपसे यही विनती करता हूं, हमारा जो एडजर्नमेंट मोशन है वो रूल 56 के तहत हम चर्चा चाहते हैं, लेकिन वो लोग वो चर्चा नहीं चाहते हैं। लेकिन इसलिए मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं, आप कोई भी रूल में ले लीजिए जिसमें डिबेट होगा और वोटिंग होगी।
It is absolutely correct. We have also moved adjournment motion under Rule 56 and therefore 193. I am of the same opinion that there be discussion immediately. Yes. You scratch 56, you scratch 193, but you have every authority to find out the third way. Why government, in spite of a brute majority in the House, more than 300 MPs, why they are frightened to come to the voting? What for? That is to be clarified.
I think the government should agree to have a discussion. Yes. Every state, every citizen of this country is going through hardship. That is the reason why we want to express ourselves. We don't want a division on black money. For the black money issue, let me come. For the black money issue, on the black money issue, yesterday we have said the whole country, every political party is one with the government. Yes. We don't want any division on black money.
आप रूल्स के अंदर से ही फैसला लेंगी, लेकिन सरकार की जो मंशा है उसको बेशक आप प्रायोरिटी देंगी, लेकिन मैं ये कहता हूं कि लोकसभा ये नहीं हो जाए कि सरकार के मंशा के अनुयायी हो जाए, तब लोकतंत्र खत्म हो जाएगा और वो काला दिन होगा। आपको ये फैसला लेना पड़ेगा कि जनप्रतिनिधि किस तरह से, किस सूरत में जनता की वेदना को यहाँ व्यक्त करे। और मैं ये कह रहा हूँ, जब उनके भी बहुत से कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स हैं जिनके बदले वेदना है, वो यहाँ आना चाहिए, और इसलिए एडजॉर्नमेंट मोशन कह रहा हूँ।
The Lok Sabha was adjourned repeatedly as opposition leaders refused to give up their demands.
लेकिन आप भाग रहे हैं गरीबों का गला घोट के। 82 लोग मर गए हैं।
The House was later adjourned for the day amid commotion. With inputs from Ravindra Sharan and Pranav Goswami, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the Reserve Bank of India today restricted the withdrawal from Jan Dhan account holders to 10,000 rupees per month. The measure was described as a step to check misuse of such accounts by black money holders. The RBI said fully KYC compliant Jan Dhan account holders will be allowed to withdraw 10,000 rupees per month from their account, while limited or non-KYC compliant account holders can withdraw 5,000 rupees per month. However, branch managers may allow further withdrawals beyond 10,000 rupees a month only after ascertaining the genuineness of such withdrawals and after documenting the same on bank's record. After the centre's surprise demonetization drive, bank accounts of people with zero balance till the announcement have reportedly witnessed a sudden surge in deposits. The government suspects that black money holders are using the farmers and other people's Jan Dhan accounts to convert their black money into white. Well, after her mega rally in Lucknow, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee on Wednesday staged a protest rally at Garbandi Bagh area in Patna to demand rollback of the centre's demonetization decision. Slamming Modi, the Trinamool Congress chief said that the Prime Minister had imposed a super emergency in the country by demonetizing 500 and 1,000 rupees currency notes. She alleged that the Prime Minister had snatched the freedom of people to live. The West Bengal Chief Minister was accompanied by her party leaders and leaders from the Rashtriya Janata Dal. Mamata has been opposing the Modi government's demonetization decision since it was announced on November 8th.
हमारा घर का माँ बहन, हमारा जब कोई संकट आते हैं, वो कुछ जमा है, और जब संकट आते हैं, वो जमा करने का रुपया दे देता है। वो कहे देखो तुम्हारा बुका हुआ, तुम्हारे पास आदमी का पास पैसा नहीं है, अच्छा माँ बहन दे देता है, तुम जाके उसको भर्ती करो। आज क्या बोला? बटुआ बंद कर दो, मोबाइल लेके चलो। तुम जनता को बटुआ बंद कर सकते हैं, हमारा माँ बहन को बटुआ बंद करके क्या कर सकते हो तुम? ये माँ बहन का अपमान है, असम्मान है, सीधों का अपमान है।
Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the Supreme Court today directed that the national anthem be played in all cinema halls across the country before the screening of any film. It said people in cinema halls should stand up when the anthem is played and the national flag should be shown on the screen at the time. The Apex Court said there should not be any dramatization of the anthem and it should not be printed or displayed on undesirable objects. The court also directed the centre that the order should be given effect in a week's time and be circulated to all the states and union territories.
The court has directed that the national anthem has to be played in all cinema halls, which will be implemented in the next 10 days. After that, before the feature film is played, the national anthem with the national flag will be played in the cinema halls and everybody has to stand for it. The important point in this was that there will be no commercial exploitation of the national anthem. The national anthem cannot be dramatized. It can't be used in feature films to dramatize the effect of it.
Decision. It will inculcate a sense of patriotism among the people and particularly the younger generation. I am very happy about it.
ये स्वागत योग्य है। इसके लिए हम सभी को फख्र महसूस करना चाहिए कि हमारे देश के नागरिक जो हैं सम्मानपूर्वक अपने देश का राष्ट्रगान जो है वो गाएंगे।
जो लोग हैंडीकैप हैं, जो हमारे लेडीज को मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम होगा, तो ये क्लैरिटी की जरूरत है जो सरकार को करना चाहिए।
Here's a roundup of the other news from across the country in Nationwide. A cyclone building up in the Bay of Bengal is expected to cross the Tamil Nadu coast on Friday. Chennai is expected to receive moderate rain from Wednesday night, and heavy rainfall has been forecast for north coastal Tamil Nadu and Puducherry from Thursday. The cyclone Nada is currently about 770 kilometers southeast of Chennai and is expected to move west and intensify. 3 army officers were killed and a junior commissioned officer was critically injured on Wednesday when a cheetah helicopter crashed at Sukna military camp in West Bengal. The chopper crashed while returning to the camp's helipad from a routine mission. A court of inquiry has been ordered into the incident. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on Wednesday held a rally in Amritsar. Lashing out at the Prime Minister, Kejriwal said that the government's move to impose 50% tax on unaccounted money is a betrayal to the common people. He also alleged the Naba jailbreak was a conspiracy. Heavy fog engulfed the national capital on Wednesday, delaying 18 flights and 50 northbound trains. 30 flights were diverted due to poor visibility at the IGI airport, where low visibility procedures were implemented. The visibility was recorded at 800 meters at 5:30 a.m., which dropped to 200 meters 3 hours later. The minimum temperature was recorded at 11 degrees Celsius. The BJP named Manoj Tiwari and Nityanand Rai as the party's Delhi and Bihar unit presidents respectively. While Tiwari replaces Satish Upadhyay, Rai replaces Mangal Pandey. His appointment is seen as an effort to go beyond the upper castes and reach out to the OBCs. Well, Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh joined many world leaders at a massive rally in Havana to commemorate Fidel Castro, who died on Friday, aged 90. Castro led the rebels who seized power in the 1959 revolution and ruled Cuba in the face of US opposition that endured until President Barack Obama reserved course in 2014 and set out to restore diplomatic relations. Here's more.
At Havana's Revolution Square, chants of "Long live the revolution" and "Fidel, Fidel" filled the air at a mass rally honoring the late Cuban revolutionary leader. The gathering began with the national anthem and ended with a tribute from Castro's brother Raúl. Fidel Castro died on Friday.
Fidel consagró toda su vida a la solidaridad y encabezó una revolución socialista de los humildes, por los humildes y para los humildes.
The memorial service brought together a number of world leaders and representatives of governments across several continents, who celebrated the former president as a revolutionary and hero for the downtrodden. India was represented by Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh, along with an 8-member delegation that included representatives of different political parties. The world leaders eulogized Castro, who ruled the country for 49 years and then remained an influential presence until his death. While for many Castro was a symbol of resistance to imperialism, many others condemned him as a tyrant who jailed opponents and ruined the economy through socialism.
People and government of the Republic of South Africa learned with sadness of the passing of one of the greatest revolutionaries of our time and one of the greatest heroes of the 20th century.
A este lugar sagrado para honrar al eterno joven, al eterno soñador, al eterno rebelde de la patria de...
Personalmente extrañaré
habrá una ausencia. ¿Quién me enseñará? ¿Quién me reflexionará? ¿Quién me cuidará? ¿Quién nos cuidará? Hermanas y hermanos.
After a 4-day island-wide procession, Castro's ashes will be buried in the southeastern city of Santiago de Cuba on 4th of December. Castro died at the age of 90 after defying the United States during a half-century of rule and surviving the eclipse of global communism. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news in Global Buzz. Thousands of people in Chaponce in Brazil held a vigil for the victims of a plane crash who included most of the city's football team. Fans of the team walked from the town center to the stadium where they prayed and sang. The team was flying to Colombia when their plane went down shortly before landing in Medellin. 6 of the 77 people on board survived. The Islamic State group says it was behind a car and knife rampage at a US college that left 11 people injured. Monday's attack at Ohio State University was carried out by one of its students, Somali-born Abdul Razak Ali Artan. The IS called the 18-year-old business undergraduate a soldier. Artan drove his car at a group of people, then attacked them with a knife before being shot dead. Twelve people, including 11 teenagers, were killed when a fire swept through a girls' dormitory in the southern Turkish province of Adana. The fire is likely caused by an electrical fault. At least 22 other girls were also injured. The director of the CIA has warned US President-elect Donald Trump that ending the Iran nuclear deal would be disastrous and the height of folly. In an interview to a TV channel, John Brennan also advised the new president to be wary of Russia's promises. In his campaign, Trump threatened to scrap the Iran deal and also hinted at working more closely with Russia. Myanmar's Rohingya Muslims may be victims of crimes against humanity, the UN's rights agency said on Tuesday. This came as former UN Chief Kofi Annan arrived in the country for a visit that will include a trip to northern Rakhine. The army has carried out a bloody crackdown in the western state and thousands of the Muslim minority have flooded over the border into Bangladesh this month. Myanmar has denied allegations of abuse, saying the army is hunting for terrorists. Well, here's a roundup of the sports news in Sports Beat. Indian skipper Virat Kohli has moved up to a career-best third place in the ICC rankings for Test batsmen following his contribution in India's 8-wicket win over England in the third Test at Mohali. He scored 62 and 6 not out to move to 833 points. Kohli, who is top ranked in 2020 internationals and second in one-day internationals, had started the Test series on 15th position. Shuttler Parupalli Kashyap advanced to the men's singles pre-quarterfinals of the Macau Open Badminton Tournament today. He defeated Chinese Taipei's Chun Wei Chen 21-19, 21-8. However, Sameer Verma, the finalist of recently concluded Hong Kong Open, was defeated by Indonesia's Muhammad Bayu in straight games in the second round. The Indian men's hockey team lost 3-4 to Australia in the two-test series in Bendigo, Victoria today. Akashdeep Singh opened the scoreline for India in the 6th minute of the game. Trent Mitten then scored a goal in the 13th minute to equalize the score for the hosts. Later, V.R. Raghunath scored 2 goals, but Jez Hayward's 2 brilliant goals in the second half helped Australia win the match 4-3. Hashim Mansoor, a 7-year-old boy from Kashmir's Bandipora district, has won a gold medal at the Asian Youth Karate Championships in Delhi. Mansoor won the gold in the sub-junior category below 25 kilograms, beating Sri Lankan opponent in the final. Mansoor has now qualified for the World Championship to be held next year in September. Well, that's it on this edition of the Bulletin. Have a good evening.